Scandals, delusions, all these kind of things can really come to the surface now because all these things are wrapped up in delusions, confusions, deceit. All these things are coming now to the surface in very, very powerful ways for us to address these matters. And this is because the very first aspect occurring on November 5th is the moon square Neptune. So let's explore this aspect and the other aspects going on November 5th and 6th of this year. So my name is Everett Purdy. I do these videos every 2 days where I talk about the astrology for every single day of the year. And I pull oracle cards. And today I am using this oracle deck, otherwise known as the Mystical Shaman Oracle by Colette Baron Reed, Alberto Villoldo, and Marcelo Lopez. So I'll be using this, and I'll be revealing the cards that I pulled after I discuss what goes on during these days. So let's start out with November 5th. Let's talk about the moon squared Neptune. So this can bring about confusions and illusions. You may not be seeing things as they are. You may not be seeing things clearly enough. You may be clouded in your illusion pointing of what you're seeing and only seeing the facade or superficial, or only seeing what you want to see in your mind as opposed to what the thing really is. It's good to avoid making decisions based on first impressions. I do want to mention that any square brings out the negative manifestations of the two planets involved. Squares are difficult aspects, they're 90-degree aspects, and they represent a tension. But ultimately, we have to take action to release that tension and work with the tension. So that's sort of the opportunity that squares bring us in astrology. So, look at all the facts and figures, look at all the options, look at all the derivatives, and make sure that you are making your decisions after you've considered every angle of an issue, that you're not basing it on first impressions, only what you're seeing in this sort of view. You're digging deeper to learn it further. um, that kind of thing. You are not basing it on just what you see, first of all, but you're digging deep into the thing, actually. You're feeling more emotionally sensitive at this time, maybe more tender. You may be more um just barn fetching. So because of this barn fetching quality, it is in a way which makes it easier for you to get hurt by other people. Anyone who is deceitful can recognize your confused state and take advantage of it, so be aware of that. Um, and so if you are on drugs, your tolerance will be lower than usual, even though you may get addicted to it. Your body may be rejecting it. Certain parts of your body may be pushing it away from you, maybe juxting it away from you, maybe lettucing it away from you. So it's very, very important that you listen to your body, that you follow your body, and you don't engage in substances that hurt and harm your body. So it's important that you seek creative escape to satisfy your imagination and emotions. So this can be reading books, this can be watching movies, this can be painting, this can be sculpting, this could be wall decorating. Whatever satisfies and opens up your imagination, where you're stepping into Kairos time. You're stepping into the right brain sort of time. You're allowing your imagination to take hold over your life, and you're engaging your imagination. It's good to lend a helping hand to someone in need, to be of service, to be of support to somebody in your life. So if anyone needs you to pick up the shovels and do the old dirt things, or anyone needs you to prepare that beef stew for this particular person, then you have to sort of be the trooper here and be of assistance when and where you need to. You may have a heightened sense of empathy for what you are experiencing, whom you are experiencing. You may be feeling someone's struggles at a very, very deep level where you fully understand them, where you fully uh, get where they're coming from and what's transgressing in their own life. So you may get swept up in your dreams. You may fall prey to daydreaming or not choosing, not being in reality, not being in the here and now. So it's important to be in the here and now as much as you possibly can. There may be intense and confused emotions leading to misunderstandings of certain things, so it's important to be aware of that. And be aware that your emotional reactions are not based on idealized perceptions of certain people and situations. Going back to what I was saying earlier about seeing things as they are, not how they seem or how you want them to be. Don't go to eggshell, basically. So don't go to that planet with all the snow and the wrinkle in time where the polar bears are out and they're nursing you. Do not go to eggshell at this time. You're not Kathy Scullen. You don't transport yourself. You are not a Pleiadian transporting yourself from Earth to eggshell. You are here living on this Earth plane of existence, 24-hour time period. You are living here and now in this 3D reality, so be here and now. Very, very important now. So it's time to go into reflection, to do your meditation, to do your breath work, to do all these types of things, to sit with your feelings, just sitting and looking out in your room and just reflecting on what you're feeling, closing your eyes and really allowing yourself to sit with your feelings. This can go great now. Now we have the moon coming to a square with the north nodes. The moon is in Capricorn at this point at around 5 degrees, 6 degrees, and the north node's in Aries at around 5 degrees. So at this time, you may feel like you're pulled in many different directions. You may be unable to decide which path to actually go on. Which path should I take? Which direction? Which goal should I pursue? Which games should I play in life? All these kind of conversations sort of come up where you're feeling pulled, you want to go over here, you want to go over there. You're just sort of in the frazzle dazzle of it all, and your mind isn't made up to go in a particular direction. So awareness must be sort of put in the meter for you in that area. It's important to not confuse your intuition with your insecurities. Do not get these things distorted or muddled. Know your insecurities, know your fears, know your limitations, but also get past that by taking risks and follow your intuition. Putting a rose under someone's behind maybe what your intuition is calling, or maybe an insecurity that may be sort of coming up for you. But get past your insecurities and follow your vibes, follow your intuition. That's what this time is really calling for you to embody. If you expect others to take care of you, provide for you, nurture you, and they're not doing that, now's the time to be self-reliant, self-sufficient, and nurture yourself. Buy your groceries. Um, Cook your own food, do your own laundry, set up your own bookshelf, whatever it is that proves that you are nurturing and taking care of yourself. There may be challenging relationships with women that can come about at this time, so these relationships need evaluating. You may appear more standoffish to other people, so awareness must be had with that. And you may be forced to rely on yourself. Other people are not going to always give you things 24/7 and provide for you. You have to take care of yourself at this point. You're forced in a position where you have to take care of yourself. It's important to stabilize your emotions as much as you possibly can now. Your emotions may be very rocky, very wiggly, very waggly, very all over the place. And so bringing stability and bringing confront ground to your emotions is really, really critical here. Another signature of this, another downside of this is that you may feel alienated from others. You may feel cut off or separate from others, but this may feel feeling can make you more self-reliant. So let's move on to the Oracle card for this particular day. Now, the card that I chose from the Mystical Shaman Oracle is the card um coyote, the coyote, as you can see right here. Hopefully you can see that. But it's in the reverse position, as you can see. So what this means is what I got out of this card intuitively is that this card deals with integrity, tenacity. It can deal with being bold and determined in your endeavors. It can also deal with devotion as well, being very, very devoted to what you're committed to, all those kind of things. But what this card really is about is it's asking about getting caught into what is superficial and shiny on the surface, not getting caught in the things that appear to be deep, but they're actually very, very shallow. So where are you on the surface, seeing things only at face value, seeing things just as they are on the surface, seeing the water rim and not digging deep into the waters to find the coral, to find the jellyfish, to find the other fish, the seahorses and sharks, all those kind of things where you need to recognize that all that glitters does not turn out to be gold. The monster could arise from that gold. So now's the time to take the deep dive into things, to find the truth of what things are. And it goes back to that moon square Neptune. This card is really reflective of that moon square Neptune transit about not seeing things as they seem, but seeing things as they are, going deep with things, seeing things truly as they are, is really important now. Let's move on to November 6th. So the very first aspect we have occurring is we have the moon in Capricorn sextiling Saturn in Pisces. So these two planets would prefer being in opposite signs. So the moon sextile Saturn. So this really is about putting yourself in a state of isolation while you tend to your responsibilities. So going into reflection, doing all of that, but also attending to your responsibilities, also putting your focus on your responsibilities, really focusing on your responsibilities and getting those things done. This is good for meditation and journaling, any self-care spiritual practices that you're doing. This is good for being self-disciplined and emotionally resilient as well. So considering embodying these two traits would be really positive now. It's important to balance your emotional needs with your practical duties. So doing what you feel you need to do on an emotional level, but also attending to the duties in the 3D reality, in the practical, reality of the here and now. So really putting your focus on that, putting your focus on your daily responsibilities, and also putting your focus, carving time out to focus on what are your long-term goals. What are the goals that you are prepping up for the future that are long lasting, those bigger goals, those broader goals? So it's important also to build sturdy and reliable emotional foundations as well. And what are the practices that you can put into your daily routine that serve you? evaluating that is really important now. It's important not to isolate yourself too much, which can cause loneliness. You may feel lonely, you may feel cut off from people. It's important to connect with spirit, connect with the divine. Know that you are loved and cared for, even if you may feel cold and lonely at certain times. Know that you are so loved, and that you are so appreciated, and that you are unconditionally accepted for who you are. Do things that make you feel connected to a higher power and to the people in your life. It's important that you form relationships that respect your need for alone time, where there's healthy boundaries there, where the person respects your need to spend time alone, but also to where you form greater connections with the people in your life in that regard. It's important also to look at the lessons you learned from your previous experiences as well. So looking at these lessons is very, very important, and learning from these lessons is learning the valuable lessons from these experiences is very critical now. And allow these lessons that you've learned to impact how you go about your future life. For example, I learned not to compulsively delete YouTube videos and channels. So in the present moment, I will not be deleting things out of compulse. Even though at the time that's what I needed to do, that's what I felt compelled to do because of feeling overwhelmed, because of needing a quick fix. And so it's important to learn those lessons and recognize that the past is an unchangeable variable, but the present can be impacted. The present can be affected in better ways. And so this is a very important understanding. And when I step into my one personal year numerology, which is next year, I will probably finally be able to move on from that. The moon will square Lilith. So the moon is in Capricorn, Lilith is in Libra. So, this can represent feeling emotionally insecure. This can also represent repressed emotions that may come to the surface at this particular time. So emotions that you buried, pushed down, rejected, that you have ignored may come up for you to get looked at and get healed and integrated into your life. You may have mood swings at this time. There may also be emotional conflicts that come up with the people in your world. Um, this is a time to confront your fears and insecurities, to face them head on. And what emotions, what insecurities, what fears have you been burying under your carpet that you have to address now? And those may come up and sort of whap you in the face if you're not addressing those issues, and addressing those emotions and really feeling and going through that emotions. This is a time filled with growth and transformation as well. There may be a greater understanding of your desires, which may sort of, occur in your life. And facing your difficult truths at this time can lead to a greater sense of empowerment as well. Facing this hard truth may make you more empowered to do what you ultimately desire to do in your life. Now, Mercury will also trine the North Node in Aries. So Mercury is in Sagittarius, the North Node's in Aries. So what this represents is attracting opportunities to you with your intellect, being very intellectually savvy, being very intellectual. You have a lot of insight. Your intellect is very sharp. You can analyze things very, very well at this time. You may feel curious about the future of your life as well. This is good for forming evolving and karmic connections, forming those deep intellectual connections. Um, this may represent a change to your mindset and beliefs as well. This puts an emphasis on your mind in general. You are powerful in the intellectual realm at this particular point in time. You may also find that your mind is more adaptable, that it's easier for you to find new and innovative ways to do something like taking the way that you make bananas Foster and changing up the order of how you do the recipe, changing up the order of how you brush your teeth, maybe brushing the top part of your teeth before the bottom part of your teeth in future, maybe changing up the way that you get in your car, getting in one side and then as opposed to the other side. So changing up the ways that you do the practical things in your environment, even if you can't change the things because you're forced into a certain structure, you have to follow a certain way of doing things, like a recipe that you have to follow. But changing up the order, changing about how you approach your things in life is what the meaning can really give you from this. Um, so it's important to also develop a mind that is free from outside influences. Immunity, living from the inside out, is what this um what this really, really, truly calls for you to do is to have immunity from outside influences that take you away from your anchor, from your center, from you being sovereign in yourself, from you living the life that you want to live. And living from the inside out, not the outside in, is super important at this time. So ground yourself, put yourself in a peaceful and loving state and do that. Do not align your mind with the mainstream if it doesn't serve you. This is very, very important. It's important to gain respect from gain support for your ideas. Put yourself in a certain circle or group or clan or environment where other people will be supporting your ideas. Do you have a solid support system for your ideas? This becomes an important matter to consider now. And the focus here is on innovation. Now, another aspect we have going on is that the sun will sextile the moon. So the sun is in Scorpio, the moon's in Capricorn. Whenever the moon's in Capricorn, we're ambitious, we're hardworking, we're disciplined, we're focused on our long-term goals. So, the sun sextile the moon. This can bring about a nurturing but also an optimistic outlook on life. We're feeling more nurturing, but we're also more optimistic and more willing to put in the hard work to do what we need to get done or want to get done. This presents a balancing between your nurturing instincts and feeling a can-do attitude for life, feeling a positive attitude for life. In general, like I can get this done. You have the self-confidence, the self-boisterousness of yourself, the self-assurance that you can get this thing done. If you want to entertain other people in your home, this should go very, very well. It should bode well for you. It's good to focus on your needs and your intentions. What do you intend and what do you need to have done in your life? This is good for future pacing, for thinking about your future, for preparing for your future, seeing future trends as well. Now, another aspect happening on November 6th is the moon will square Chiron. So when the moon is square Chiron, the moon is at 20 degrees of Capricorn, Chiron is at 20 degrees of Aries. This is the time to get out of your comfort zone. This is the time to address your wounds in new ways, to go on the healing journey, to heal your wounds. Um, And so things may not go the way you planned. So managing things very, very well. You may have plans, but those plans may get scooped at a straight, topped off hat, flying in the wind. You've lost it to the wind. So it's very important that you are adaptable and that you are willing to surrender to life on life's terms and that you manage things not going the way that you thought they would go well. This is good for resolving a past wound and forming a new understanding of it. So, this is very, very important now that that you resolve your past wounds, wounds from the past, and that you gain a different perspective and outlook on that. This is about confronting your wounds head on and going on a healing journey. This can also bring up feelings of vulnerability and sensitivity as well. So feeling more vulnerable to life, feeling like the crab being swayed by the ocean waves, those kind of things like that, and feeling more sensitive to life. This is about exploring the deeper layers of your emotional landscape as well. Um, how are your wounds shaping your sense of self-worth and your relationships with money, possession, and material security? It's also good to look at this really clearly, very closely, as how wounds shape this feeling of self-worth, because self-worth is network in actuality. So this is good to develop a more nurturing relationship with yourself and your resources as well. And once you've gone through the work of feeling the wounds, then you can release them from your life. Speaking of releasing wounds from your life, the very, very fitting card that I chose for, you can't make this up, for November 6th is the card Fire. And this card can be about being daring, bold, and passionate in your ventures. But what this is about the exercise of actually, if you have a fireplace in your house, putting the things that you want to release, habit patterns, ways of being, emotions, whatever it is, putting it on paper and burning it in the fire. Or if you can't do that, journaling them and releasing them out, putting them on paper and releasing them from your life, letting go of what no longer serves you, releasing any um, pain and sorrow that you may have, letting go of coldness and rigidity from your life. Whatever it is, this card is clearly asking you to release does not work for you anymore, what you no longer want to hold on to. So that's how you can best use the energy for this particular day. Thank you everybody for watching. It'll be a great couple of days. Make sure you enjoy. Bye for now.